guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Alex. You should totally subscribe. But in today's video, I'm just hanging out. I'm wearing my favorite cozy sweater, and I thought I would just do something that I thought is really fun, and that is reacting to your guys' worst first date stories. So I use the questions feature on Instagram. I'll insert a picture of what it looked like here. If you're not following me on Instagram, you totally should. It's just at Alexandra Lasky. But you guys sent me so many responses and I haven't read them yet, so this is just gonna be me like reacting to and commenting on your guys' worst first date experiences. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the long ones. Okay, so this first one says he showed up 20 minutes late. After apologizing multiple times, we got to talking about careers. Oddly enough, he is a lawyer, which is the direction I had planned on going. When I told him this, he placed his hand on my leg, leaned in, and said,
"I'm sure you do, sweetheart."
That makes me so mad. Like, just imagine being on a date with this guy, whether it be at like a coffee shop or a restaurant, wherever it is, and just being like, "You're a lawyer, that's so exciting. I've been looking into being a lawyer, or I've wanted to be a lawyer my whole life." And he's just like, "I'm sure you do, sweetheart." That would make me so mad. I would literally just like smoke out my ears, fuming of anger. I would just like walk out and be like, "Bye, boy." Like, oh my god. And it's not over, there's more. So she said, the next evening he texted me saying he felt the date went well and that we should do it again sometime. Needless to say, there was no second date. Obviously there was no that guy is so disrespectful. I can't even imagine being on a date with him. But needless to say, if you still want to be a lawyer, go do it, because like that guy's stupid, and if you do become a lawyer, you'll probably be a better one than him. So this next one says, one time I agreed to go out with this guy and he called me Darlene the whole time and I was too embarrassed to correct him. And her name is Destiny. So he was just like calling her the wrong name the whole date. That sucks, especially because like it's awkward getting to know someone enough already, but then just being like, my name's Alex, for example. So if the whole date someone was like, "Oh, Alice, Alice," I'd be like, this is not going well. Oh, that poor guy. And the poor girl. I would also be too embarrassed to correct him, so I don't feel bad about that. So this guy said, "I've been talking to this girl for weeks. We decide to meet up at the club and she shows up late, which is fine. When she finally does show up, both of us lock eyes and smile at each other. At this point, I texted her from across the room to see if she wanted a drink. So I get the drink and I make my way to meet this lovely lady. And this is when things got bad really fast and really awkward." Oh no. He goes, "I got out of a long-term relationship a year before, so this is my first real date in years. So when I got to her, I wasn't really sure what to do. I said hello and she came in for a hug and I went for a handshake." Haha, yeah, I know. That's so funny, like, how are you? Been there, done that, it's fine. We all do it. "Well, we did this funky weird dance." Funky weird dance, okay. Okay. "And I ended up dropping my drink straight on her shoe and the drink shot straight up her skirt. She jumps and turns all red and said she'd be back. She walks away, seeing her with blue fluids dripping down her legs. I just knew she wasn't coming back or texting back." Yep, I was right. That's so embarrassing. I feel like it's fine, like for me, if I was texting a guy and I kind of like knew him and then we were dancing and he spilled the drink on me, like I'd be kind of upset about it, but I wouldn't just like storm off and never talk to him again. I feel like that's a little dramatic. But like this poor guy hasn't been on dates in years and he's like finally gets this date with this girl. Like, it's not like a real date, but it like kind of is because they're meeting up for the first time, and he spills a drink on her. That's sad. But just like, let that be a lesson to you. Do not have a drink while you're dancing because you don't want to spill it on your date. So this girl said, "Long story short, I was too scared to tell my mom it was a date, so I made my best friend come with me on my very first movie date." That's so funny. Like, remember the days of middle school when you were too scared to tell your parents that it was like a date, or you weren't sure if it was a date or whatever it was, even like early high school. So you like make all your friends come with you and turn it into like a friend thing. I did that once, and then the guy thought that I didn't even have a crush on him because I invited all my friends to go on our date. But I did like him, I just was scared. Okay, so this girl also said, "I also was too scared to tell the guy that I was afraid of horror films, so I acted tough, but I ended up needing to hold both his and my friend's hand the entire movie." That's so funny. I just imagine being like, "I didn't even know this was a date and now we're like holding hands and I'm so scared. I hate horror movies." I hate that. I would die. You go, girl. Okay, so this guy said, "I took a girl out for supper once and then on the way home we stopped at Tim's for coffee." If you don't know what Tim's is, it's like a Canada thing, I think, but it's just like a coffee chain, kind of like Dunkin' Donuts. I personally prefer McDonald's coffee though. Unpopular opinion, but I love it. And okay, so he says, "I had to use the washroom and I didn't realize there was no toilet paper, so I had to ask a random dude in the bathroom to go get me napkins from the front desk without anyone noticing." And yeah, she noticed, lol. Oh, that's embarrassing. Like, just imagine being on your first date and like as a girl, especially like if you were like on your period and you needed a tampon or something, that would suck. So at least it wasn't that. But just imagine having no toilet paper on a first date. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you. This guy just replied with like a photo to my story, so I'll just like insert a picture here. But it looks like it was a wild date from what I can tell from the photo. It's like a little freaky stuff went down. I'm gonna screenshot that right now. So this guy said, my date farted. Which isn't like that bad, but it's kind of embarrassing. I feel like once you start dating someone, it's totally acceptable to like fart in front of them. And then maybe not like in front of them, but like, I don't care. But on the first date, it's like, not a turn on, you know? Don't love that. This guy said, my first date just didn't show up. If you want to stand someone up, like if you don't want to go on the date, you're not into it, just tell them beforehand that you don't want to go, or that like even you can lie. Just be like, something came up, I have to go do this, I have to go do that. But don't just not show up. That's so embarrassing. I know for me at least, like it gives me anxiety literally sitting there waiting for someone to show up, even if it's like one of my good friends. Like this summer I was meeting one of my friends for sushi and her phone was broken, so she couldn't message me or anything. And we decided to meet at like 1 o'clock and I was there at like 12:55 because I usually like being early. Plus if it's a restaurant, you don't have a reservation, it's nice to like be able to get a table. So I showed up 5 minutes early, and then what happened was she didn't catch the bus that she was supposed to catch, so she ended up having to walk, and it was like 1:15 and she wasn't there, and I'd been sitting there for 20 minutes and I was so anxious. I was like, I hope she shows up. And like, I don't know if it's stupid, but I literally get embarrassed by things like that. Like I'll literally just sit there and be like sweating and like looking at the menu, and I'm just like, oh my god, like did my friend just like not show up? Like is this like some kind of sick joke? And like that's so weird. I don't know if anybody else does that, but that happened to me. So this guy said, I looked across the table and it wasn't you. Worst date ever. That's funny. This girl said, I drove an hour and a half to meet him. He didn't pay for my coffee and he only talked about himself. And that kind of sucks because like as much as it sucks that it's like society standard that guys pay on the first date, it's only a coffee. Like a coffee's like maybe $5 if you got a latte at like a nice cafe. But like that's not a lot of money. It's not like you're taking her out to dinner or something. So it really sucks if you don't buy her like her drink. So that's like that's terrible. But like only talking about yourself is like the biggest turnoff ever. Like I just imagine sitting there and being like, and then him texting me the next day and be like, that date went so well, we should do it again. And I'm like, you don't know anything about me because all you talked about was yourself. So no. This guy said, she came with her mom. Can you imagine showing up to a date with your mother? Or being the other guy would be so awkward, like just sitting there and you're excited for this date to show up and then she walks in with her mom and you're like, didn't know we were there yet, but nice to meet ya. Okay, so this next girl said, a guy came over to hang out and instead of talking in person, he just texted me. Can you imagine how awkward that would be? Like sitting on the couch with somebody watching a movie is like not so awkward if you're not talking. But like sitting there and being like, hey, so nice to meet ya. Do you want to watch a movie? What kind of movie do you want to watch? Okay, I'll put it on. And then like 5 minutes later, do you like this movie? Should I change it? Instead of just being like having a conversation, like it's a first date, you're trying to get to know each other. That's funny. I'm so sorry that happened to you. This person said she called me the wrong name during sex. Well, on the first date, that is a little wild for me. Okay, so this next one says, he took a picture of me and sent it to his mom, which is like awkward to do on a first date. I can't imagine just sitting there being like, he just took a picture of me. Like in this generation, like nowadays, it's totally not weird for someone to take a picture of you on a date, like because they want to put it on like their Snapchat story or like their Instagram story or whatever it is. But it's like if you're sending that to your mom, that's weird because you might not have a second date and that's just embarrassing, you know? This guy said 5 words, bitch tried to eat me. I don't know what that means, but it sounds scary and I'm sorry that that was your first date. So this next one says, I found out well on the date that he was my cousin. It gets worse. Then he proceeded to ask me for sex. Oh my god, that's crazy. Like I want to know if like he knew you were cousins or if just you knew that you were cousins, because like if he didn't know you were cousins then it's like kind of acceptable. I still like wouldn't really be flattered if some guy was like, so do you want to go home and have sex right now? I'd be like, no. But like if he knew you were cousins, that's just fucked up. That's crazy. Oh my god, that makes me so uncomfortable. People are so weird. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I hope you never have to see that cousin again. But like imagine if you never found out on the date that he was your cousin and then you like saw each other at a family reunion in like 5 years and be like, so who do you know? And then you're like first cousins. Oh my god, I would die. This next one says, he took me to his business startup meeting looking for me to give an investment. That's so awkward. Like Not only did he take you to a business meeting for your first date instead of like a coffee or a meal like a regular person, but then he proceeded to ask you for money, like to invest in his company. That's kind of weird. Like, I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. I would not go on a second date. This girl said he went in for the kiss and I went in for the high five. And that's embarrassing. I've done it. It's not embarrassing. It's like awkward. Not like a kiss and high five, but I felt like the hug and like the high five situation where I went to be like,
thanks, buddy.
And he was like,
come here, sunshine.
And then he kissed me on the forehead and I was like, ew, it's all downhill from here. And this next girl said the guy spent a good 30 minutes talking about how awful other dates were. That sucks. Like, just imagine being at a restaurant and being like, Well, maybe this date wouldn't be going so terribly if you didn't start talking about other dates that were terrible, because now this date is just gonna be added to that list. It's just like, ugh.
Like, you're bringing me down, buddy.
My so-called first date. He barely even talked to me and that's really awkward. That sucks. Like, I understand not really wanting to talk to somebody. Like, okay, that sounds bad. I understand being nervous to talk to somebody on a first date because it is like the first time you're meeting them maybe, or you're just getting to know them. But to straight up just like not talk at all is really awkward and uncomfortable for both parties. Because for me, if I'm not talking, it makes me even more anxious because I'm like, I wonder if I should be talking, or like, what should we talk about? Like, it's awkward that it's silent right now. I don't know, that sucks. This next one said, ugh, I used to be so bad at first dates. I used to talk about my ex-girlfriend. No idea why. So cringy looking back on it. That sucks. I agree, it sucks to talk about like an ex-partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is on a date, because it's like you're trying to start a relationship with a new person potentially. So to like talk about your past relationships is just kind of like, the other person's like, yeah, well, I'm not them, so. But yeah. Okay, so that is all for your guys' first date stories. I love reading these and reacting to your guys' stories, but you can message me anytime. I love talking to you guys and hearing your funny stories. I do it a lot. I've made some really good like Instagram friends through talking about like funny stories that have happened to us. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. I love you guys so much and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye guys.